watch the game again then, Steiny.
Nobody f***s with the Jesus.
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
We're joined by Willard and Dibs. It is the crossover on 95.7 The Game coming up in 10 minutes. What's bugging you?
Yeah.
Sponsored by ATCO Pest Control.
And our guys went viral.
Go ahead.
Unforgivable.
Go ahead, what? Go ahead.
That's what
This
you...
dude.
That's what you
I thought you were going to go with, and I won't be unforgiven.
Oh, no. Unforgivable is a
little
tough
Metallica.
word to put in a lyric.
Yeah.
Unforgiven
Could you believe
Metallica.
he used that word?
Well, in
That
retrospect,
resonated with me, man.
retrospect, I probably should have followed up on it. A little bit
We both
differently
should've.
than we did.
So what would you, like how?
Well, so what does that mean?
Wow.
If he's not forgiven,
Wow, okay.
then what does that mean? Because I would imagine he's going to play basketball for the Warriors in a few hours. So
Could that mean something in the offseason that Steiny and I talked about?
Maybe.
Bigger than the immediate.
Or maybe, and I'm with, Steiny, you said something that caught me when you guys were talking about this because I think that at first glance, you're just like, well, that's the word that captures the emotion he's feeling. But this is somebody who does this for a living and is a phenomenal public speaker and a phenomenal interview, and they are very aware of their standing in the community. And in other words, he knew that word, he chose that word. And you said that. He chose to use that word. And so, in retrospect, I would have loved to dig into that word a little bit further. What does that mean? I don't know.
I mean,
it's a big word.
If Guru did something or I did something to one and it was unforgivable, we couldn't work together anymore.
Right.
It's that simple.
It's the end.
If it's truly unforgivable.
Right. Now,
right?
That's what it means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finished.
And there are some things that you could do to a friend that is unforgivable, and we don't need to run down the list because then it gets into a morals thing of is that or isn't that.
But how can you remain friends, though, if it's not the end?
You can't. You can't. And that's if it's unforgivable.
Correct.
You're right.
Like if it turns out that you are having an affair with my wife, that's unforgivable.
And it's over.
And if you and I are doing radio together, then we're not doing radio anymore. And we're probably going to have to exchange fisticuffs at some point.
No doubt.
And that would be unforgivable, for example. Now, if you borrowed my car and, you left it messy, that's forgivable. We can still be friends.
No gas.
Exactly. You turned it back. It was no gas.
Yeah, that's what.
That's borderline.
That's close to unforgivable.
Yeah. But if you have a player who, for the I don't even know how manyth time, gets ejected 4 minutes into a game, and you say it's unforgivable, well, you forgave him when he popped a teammate in the chops. You forgave him when he squandered the NBA Finals 8 years ago. Well, you've forgiven a lot of things.
No, but it is intricate, I think, because you can take one act and again, is it like the examples you just gave are these large, we're never going to
one and done.
We're never going to speak again.
Right.
There are also, I think, examples where someone can say, I don't forgive you for what you did that one time. But that doesn't mean we can't still have a professional, we can't still be coworkers, especially if the people we're talking about are not the only decision makers. It's not like Steve Kerr can just be like, so we've cut him. In some ways you could look at it and go, but we don't, do they have a choice tonight? You could say yes. I would argue that most of the people in the organization would say no. I mean, if what they don't forgive him for was him leaving a game because they need him, then don't they still have the opinion that we need you?
And so late at night.
We don't forgive you, but yes, you can still play.
Because we need you.
Right.
And I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know when the unforgivable part gets enacted.
I agree with that. And I almost think that just from a practical standpoint, they're saying we got 10 more games left and we're going to figure something out in the offseason. But the other thing that this is the part that doesn't make sense except for this was different. And that is I'm sorry, but punching Jordan Poole is way worse than getting ejected against the Orlando Magic.
1,000,000 times.
You know what I mean?
As an act, of course.
Yeah, as an act. Draymond Green, when he threatened Steve Kerr in the locker room at Oklahoma City, that's worse than an ejection. Maybe you could say when he got into it with Kevin Durant.
Right.
That was what. So the fact that this is the one, I mean, I don't want to minimize it, but it's just a run-of-the-mill ejection. Yeah, they could have used him. That they've reacted more strongly to this, to me, than any of the other ones, with their language, at least.
Because the other ones are like worse acts as a human being.
Yes.
This might have been, the way professional athletes and professional sports teams, they'll overlook a lot if you're helping them win. This was a direct look at Steph Curry and say, I am no longer going to, I'm not going to help you win tonight. I'm not gonna help you try. I'm not gonna help you fight. That is not as bad of an act, but it might have hit Steph and Steve Kerr in a much different way.
Yeah, Zicky 11,
much more personal.
On the YouTube, we won't correct Kerr, but he says he thinks the term is inexcusable. Is what Kerr.
Well, then he would have used inexcusable.
No, you're totally right.
And he has used inexcusable.
I think he has used that.
And he's used unacceptable.
You hear that, Zicky?
And he's used can't happen. And he's used got to be smarter.
Yeah.
But he's never said unforgivable.
No doubt about it.
There's also a buildup, don't you think, of, it's like...
you know what it is, right? It's an accumulation sensation. Is what it is.
It's like plaque on your teeth when you go to the dentist, right? At a certain point, this one, those other things that you brought up, they were before the league suspended him indefinitely. They were before the whole NBA world pointed their eyes at him and said, you have a mental health problem. We don't even know what to do with you. And this was after all of that to come back around and tell everybody, I got it now. I understand now. I'm better now. And then do this.
He even convinced you of it.
Absolutely.
No doubt. I hadn't heard you in real time. And before you guys popped in, I went here. What he did, because he was supposed to be, and I'm not judging, but you told or sold us, you'd been in the lab, you'd been thinking about your actions, and you do this different, you show restraint. But here I go. What he did to Bonte, I kind of swept that under the rug because I thought he was wrong, but I never looked at it like, oh, he's back to the normal Draymond, but he was thinking that. So I was like, he gave us a glimpse of, I'm the same dude.
Right.
And that was just a couple. Who goes in on the TV, dude, over something he said when you got suspended? Bonte didn't suspend you. Mark, that to me was, and I kind of didn't hold on to it like I can't believe he did that. But now I'm looking at this, the podcast, and I turned my shoulder or wore a different color shirt, I wouldn't have got caught. That's what there's no remorse.
Well, I hate the word that, I'll totally agree with what you're saying. The word that it feels like still doesn't resonate to him through all this is accountability. Right. Because if you're going to get suspended indefinitely, and then you're going to be criticized on the radio while you're gone, and then you come back and you're mad at someone for criticizing you, even though you've said yourself this is inexcusable, it can't happen, why would you be mad at someone for sharing your opinion that you're completely wrong?
He was mad at Durant, Nurk, whoever, everybody.
So that's the definition of a lack of accountability.
And so now I think about it in the broader sense, and I think about it if you're Joe Lacob and Steiny, you were eloquent earlier talking about them having dinner at Joe's house and, Joe and Draymond maybe sharing a bottle of, maybe it's a cab, maybe it's
I don't see anything wrong with that. Go ahead.
I don't either. Okay. But so you have that dinner and, you both agree that he's going to get a 4-year, $100 million extension, and I think it's either spoken or unspoken that, all right, Draymond, we want you here for 4 more years. Let's have you be good Draymond. And it didn't take more than, about 15 games into the extension for him to choke Gobert and flail punch Nurkic and get suspended for 15 games. And then now this, it's like, if you're Joe Lacob, I would feel like I got duped. Wow. And the Steven Jackson comp, I'm glad you brought that back around because I think that was right when you were leaving the beat or getting into your TV job. But Steven Jackson gets the extension and then the immediate okey doke. Moments later, is the ink dry on the deal? I want out. And it's like, wow. And that was, I I think you said earlier it was Lacob. I think that was Cohan and Rao.
Oh yeah, no, that was Cohan and
okay.
Rao for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just.
If I was Lacob and I'd be looking at 3 years and $75 million, actually $77 million remaining because it's backloaded, I'd feel a little bit burned.
And Guru, like, is there anything wrong with Lacob and Draymond going to Lacob? No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. But it's insight. It's insight. It's very unusual. It just is. So why did that have to happen? It's fair to think, they must have been talking about something because other contracts are just signed, and they're signed. And he went, there was something going on, and I give
you that. Something was going on.
There's nothing wrong with it.
But if I'm Draymond and I'm coming home from that dinner and I got my contract, I'm like, that's the best dinner I ever had.
Right.
Like, sometimes there is no dinner.
Right. But you know what you didn't say as Draymond was driving home? That was the best dinner I ever had. You know what? I'm going to straighten out. I got to try to straighten out here because they just entrusted me with another 4 years, and there has to be a feeling in that building of betrayal,
buyer's remorse.
I agree with that.
You know what I want to ask you guys though? There's always there's a difference between when you say, "Oh, I'm going to straighten up." Like a lot of people say, "I'm going to straighten up,"
right?
But they can't.
True.
So I don't like. When you watch him behave this year, is it can't or won't?
I'm it won't now. It won't. Yeah, it won't.
I mean, if we buy the whole narrative through his suspension of he needs help and he needs therapy and all this, that moves more toward can't. Like I've watched people, very recently in my life, I've watched people who have all of the intent in the world, all of the intent. They just can't.
So do you think this is a can't?
I don't know.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Tell you one thing he could do, and walk away. Like anybody who's lost their temper knows that it begins to rise. And you start to say things like, you say, I know I'm mad and I'm making a fool. I don't even care. But like, run away. Literally run away.
Yeah, but if he's an addict,
he can't.
Take it from somebody who's been accused of being the person who always needs to have the last word. Okay?
And the first word.
Right.
But how bad?
That's in the middle, too. I got nothing against those either.
Just trying to lighten it up.
That's not the worst trait to have.
Do you know what I mean? Like that is potentially. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but that can be an addiction. Like he can't walk away. Like he is so your whole visual goes red, your whole body feels hot, and you can't walk away.
I get what you're saying, but I think that I'm probably the closest in the room to Draymond in terms of what, and I think you've done
scared of Willard.
You've done a nice job of your anger management.
Thank you,
Steiny. You've seen my episodes more times than
I have too, dude.
More time. I mean, get me on the golf course, and I know that there are certain things that trigger me, and so as I've gotten older, I don't think that it's a can't. I think it's not a can't, it's a won't, because I know for myself and my own anger issues, there are times, like Steiny says, where you can pull the ripcord and you can back it away. And for me, it doesn't seem like Draymond Green is interested in really making the change and taking the steps to make that change.
I'll agree with it. It doesn't seem that way, but it's, again, I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I'm not an anger management counselor. I don't know. I genuinely.
But Wednesday meant something.
Oh, God,
The Curry and the Unforgivable on your show that's gone viral.
All right, it is a Friday. That means it's time for What's Bugging You, sponsored by ATCO Pest Control. It's a little curveball here. Start with Dibs.
Yeah.
Dibs.
Yeah. And Dibley.
You know what's bugging me?
What's bugging you?
Two-factor authentication.
Oh, my God.
Hey! That's how this is meant to be done.
Authentication.
Man.
So anytime you want to do anything, anywhere, you got to have an SMS code sent to your phone. So now I got to go into my phone and get this 6-digit code, Back to the website, 6-digit code. Boom, I'm in. Okay, later in that day, maybe you close your computer. Maybe you're changing a diaper.
Right.
Maybe you're putting baby girl down for her midday nap. Gaga goo goo. Oh, that's right. I'm going to go back and check my email. Open up the email. Two-factor authentication.
It's out of control.
I was just here 90 minutes ago. So I just was dealing with the DMV, and shout out the DMV for taking care of my needs after a half an hour wait online.
There's something no one's ever said before. Shout out to the DMV.
It got dicey for a minute there, but
shout in the DMV.
So I go to log into my my DMV account, and of course, two-factor authentication.
Yeah.
So now I got to go to the phone, get the 6-digit code, back to the DMV. I am so sick of two-factor authentication. Can we just make it so that my fingerprint on my phone or my computer, can that just be enough?
Or your passcode.
What exactly?
You know what that whole process is, don't you?
It's an authentication sensation,
Thank
Mark,
you
is
very
what
much.
it is.
Right.
Cha-ching.
That's a good job.
Anyway, maybe
That's a great one.
maybe we're supposed to stick to sports in this bit.
No, it
I'm
can be
not.
anything.
I am two-factored
Go
up
ahead,
to
Will.
here.
I got a stupid one too. I'm pointing.
That was real.
Oh no, so's this. I'm pointing at you, dog advertisements on Instagram.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
When you have a dog, and we all know that our phones are listening to us,
man.
or whatever you're attracted to
I can't get into mine.
on the internet. Not that I sit there and watch dog videos all
Sorry
day.
about my dog. Hey,
But, right?
cut it out.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I bet
Oh,
Steve.
goodness.
I should ask Steve about this because I'm sure he knows. Those of you dog owners out there, do you get these? The advertisements for, say, healthy dog food. And every one of them does the exact same thing. And they'll have a video of a dog eating at grass, scratching itself, or whatever, or shaking.
Yeah, shaking off water.
Shaking, right? And they'll go, does your dog shake? Does your dog scratch itself? Does your dog put its nose in grass? These are the main signs of unhealthy guts.
I'm sitting there last night like a fat dog.
Thank you. I'm like, no, those are the signs
four.
that what you have in your hand is a dog.
Wow.
I've never, ever seen a dog that doesn't shake, scratch, and stick its face into stuff. Wow. That's what makes it a dog.
Good dog. Good
There you go. We need more dogs. We need fewer dog advertisements. That's what's bugging me.
I love
That's
it.
special.
It's a racket.
Both of
It's
them.
a racket. Trying to get me to spend my money.
What's bugging me, thanks to ATCO Pest Control, is, and I brought this up for a while, you want to know why they can't shoot in college? Oh, they're using an outdoor basketball.
Wait, what?
Have you watched any tournament games?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
tell
the
me
orangest
this.
ball I've ever
They're
seen.
using a bright orange, brand new, essentially outdoor basketball. There's nothing worse than using an outdoor ball at an indoor court. And you can tell me it's not an outdoor ball, but it's an outdoor ball. Because I watch games for 60 freaking years, and that orange thing is synthetic.
Wow.
And you know what that means? That means at the start of the game, it's slippery. It's slippery. It slips off your fingers. You can't dribble it. But at the end of the game, when it does have that little glaze that makes it then it's too sticky. A leather ball is made to slide just a little off the glass. Slide it. You work your whole career to find that place on the backboard that drops in. When you use an outdoor rubber ball, it grips the backboard and it won't go in. It grips.
Who
too
was
tight.
1 for 21 from 3 yesterday?
That's
Tennessee.
last
Maybe
week.
they were using that ball.
No, last night it was Carolina 5 for 29.
Thank you.
Good God.
They were ferocious.
Maybe you're on. But
They
why
are
wouldn't they be mad?
Because they don't care. Because that's just the NBA tried this with that crap
I
ball
remember
back
that.
in the day.
I remember
Then
that.
they got
That
rid of
I
it.
do. That lasted a day.
It was the same.
Right?
It's
Wow.
why
Like
did that
new
ball?
Coke.
Why did that ball not work? Because 49 times in the
Dude.
first 20 games, the ball got wedged between the backboard and the rim. That doesn't happen with a good leather ball, but very, very infrequently.
There's this. Daddy, don't talk about that. Wow.
Listen, there's certain things that'll F up a game. You can't play pickup basketball without a net. It's not fun. It's not fun to shoot at a basket
No,
without
it's
a
terrible.
net.
Wow.
It's
terrible.
not
No, yeah,
fun
all right.
to play basketball indoors
Man.
with the rubber ball.
Did you see that new device? It's like bring your own net.
No,
it's
what?
an Instagram ad. You take the net and you throw it on top of the rim, and then you throw the basket through, and it's a net for like a barren rim. And when you want to leave, you throw the ball from underneath,
Dibs,
and the
you have
net
to send
pops
that
off.
to me.
I
man.
like it.
I'll
Come
show
on.
you. I thought of you because one of Steiny's like give back things used to be to go around to parks, and he'd just come out,
Just put up the net.
put up the net.
Steiny.
You're absolutely right. When you got you're like, okay, we're all meeting. We're going to go play. If you got to the playground and the net was broken,
I'm not playing.
We're going home.
Yeah, exactly.
We're out.
You
We
used
go
to do
get
that.
ice cream
Remember that was like
instead.
20 years
No
ago.
doubt.
Yeah, that's
You used
what-
to go hang
I was in
nets.
between careers.
I was like, damn, my
I
God.
was looking to give back.
That's a great one. But now I'm going to watch the game. It's like,
But what's bugging you, Goo?
Well, I like to play the ponies. That means gambling. And I have a friend. He'll rename. His name is Ron T.
He won't
He'll
remain
call
there.
me for. He'll call
His
me for
social
my
security
picks,
is?
and I got a few others. They'll call you for your picks. They're wrong, and then they text you mad. You do your own research. You shook me down for a pick. I said what I like. And then they get mad when it doesn't hit, and they follow you. They'll text you, and then they make jokes. Do your own homework, Ron, and you won't have to be mad at me,
Ron.
That's Relaford in any league.
Dude, come on. How
So
do you?
this
Can I
wasn't-
cheat off your paper and then mad because you got it wrong?
Right.
Oh, I did that one time in
Boy.
math class. The
Come
teacher,
on.
whoever I
Cheat
was,
off the wrong guy.
You can't even be mad.
He did some cockamamie thing that was totally wrong, and the teacher's like, "Why are these two
Oh, boy.
exactly the same? Because neither of them make
Suspension.
any sense." So I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, he must have cheated off me."
Yeah, just if
know. I
I
don't
get it
know.
wrong, if I give you a bet, a tip, I'm not pro.
If you ask
I
me,
got hot a
if
few
you ask
times.
me for a tip and I give you a tip, don't be mad if it.
Dude, he won't let it go.
So he asked.
Yeah.
This wasn't one of your
and now
IG
we're on a
videos.
vine with like 8 other dudes, and he's like, "Don't take Guru's advice." I'm like, dude, yeah, it kind of got to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Derby coming up now.
think that's-
Brings,
Yeah.
5 weeks
Manjula-
from tomorrow. Yeah.
making me think of Mike Sowers.
What a name.
Yeah.
Who will not
10th grade.
remain nameless.
Big football player. When I was back in math class. I was in 10th grade. He was like in 11th, I think, at the time. Halfway through a test, and I got a pat on my shoulder. I look over, and it's Mike, and he goes, "Back up. I need to look at your paper." He bullied me into letting me, he cheated off me.
Yeah.
Little
Like,
did
Mike,
you know,
I'm a
math
C
was not your
student.
strength. Exactly.
Nobody's ever tapped me. Go figure.
Yeah, me either. I was so small in high
Go
school
figure, Willard.
that I was so stealthy. I could make it work.
Cheating is an art.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't
Hey,
trying.
He gets mad. Hey, but I'll leave you with this because I'll kill you with this. He gets mad at my little finesse when I give the wrong score pickup. But we'll take selfies with other people, and he's on his tippy toes.
Interesting,
Tell me
yeah.
that's not the same thing, guys.
He's a man of
You're
nuance.
cheating the camera.
It's
and you're
basically the
cheating
worst
everybody that's
analogy I've
looking.
ever heard in my life.
That I think
It
it's
literally makes no sense at all.
So you don't believe on your
What is
tippy
going
toes?
on
is
here?
cheating?
No, I don't, Goo.
Will
I don't.
Instagram is nothing but people cheating
Well,
the camera.
like, yeah.
That's all it is. That's
And
all it is. I was not
yeah.
allowed. I wanted to. Well, they know.
Oh.
No, I was asked to I was asked to take a picture that a family hoped would be their Christmas card. And after about 8 tries, one of the girls goes, "Give me the phone. You don't understand angles."
Oh, like Draymond.
I'm like, you're right. I don't.
Should have had Draymond take the
got to
photo.
believe in your
Pictures are
duties.
still you.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
They're
doubt.
still, like, that's you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blame it on Willard. Huh?
Sorry.
I'm smelling an all right gents coming.
All right, gents. Let me tell you, these guys have a hell of a show coming up, and
On
I know that for a
95.
fact because I saw the script, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's a good
and
one.
I saw it
I wrote it last night.
on 95.7
The
the
Game.
game. Sticky.